Welcome to another episode of Redesigning Your Relationships Live. I'm one of your hosts, Giovanna Burgess White.
And I'm Yvette Valdenegro. Welcome to, guess what? Number 100 episode. 100. Welcome all to this amazement of 100.
Yeah. Woo! I know we tried to make it at the end of last year, but hey, we can't be podcasting twice a week. I mean, we could, but it's a lot. For those of you guys who are watching us live for the first time, welcome. We go live every Wednesday. We have changed our format. It's going to be Instagram Live, Facebook Live, LinkedIn Live, YouTube Live, and then we will only be exclusively on Spotify going forward. And there's a new way to interact with us on Spotify. So if you're watching or listening there is a poll. There are questions. You can ask us questions. So super excited to be streaming live from Spotify. And again, if this is your first time, this is our 100th episode. We're on season 4. Woohoo! I can't believe that, saying that we're on season 4. And we're excited to bring you a new mini series because that's what we did last year and everybody loved it. So we are going to keep on doing that process going forward. Every month we'll have a topic and we'll dive into those topics and we'll break them down into mini series. If you missed our last episode last week, go back. So much information. Like, I'm super excited. Everybody's always asking us, like, hey, when's your next event? When can we meet up? What are you guys doing? I want to get involved. So we just did a whole episode on that. And there are links anywhere that you go back and watch the replay. You can hit those links. You can register for events that we're speaking at, sponsoring, going to, being part of. There's philanthropy. There's business. There's self. Whatever you need help in, we got you. So go back to that episode because it's super informational. And I'll take a deep breath because today we are going to talk about the Women's Entrepreneur Playbook is the whole topic. But today we're going to talk about part 1, which is all about responsibility.
Okay. Well, before we get started, I'd like to say that this is our 100th episode. And I'm already thankful that in the background you can hear our sponsors of Sambo. He's tweeting in the back, and I can hear the tweet of my train that I think is about ready to go by. So thank you to those very amazing sponsors who are with us through thick and thin. But so if you do listen, thank you so much for listening to this podcast and all of our amazing clients. Secondly, if you don't, this podcast really is a lot of things. But we want to speak on topics that relate to our clients, the entrepreneurial world. Even if you think you want to not be corporate, someone at home, all the transitions that someone goes through. But this is a hot topic of being an entrepreneur. What does it really mean? And if someone had a playbook, if someone could just hand you 4 different topics and say, listen, here are 4 things that you really need to consider, maybe improve on, maybe it's one of your strengths and you'll be like, yes, this is great for me. Whatever it is, you're going to learn and grow from these 4 topics to just consider. Or maybe this is going to be a refresher for you. We go, you know what? That's such a great reminder of things that I've completely not been thinking about, because you are, as an entrepreneur, you have so much going on. So it's not like it's not a checklist. This is all going to be about you as the entrepreneur. There it goes. The woman's playbook. Woo-hoo-hoo. Okay, let's just keep going. The next one today, biggest, I wanted to start off with a bang. Let's just start off with January with, hey, let's just be all about what responsibility. And actually, it's not just work. Everything in our life, we have to take responsibility for our actions, our words, what we do, what we say, how we're being, did we do something? Did we not do something? And this ties back into, we always talk about how the reverse of this is when you are a chronic blame shifter. So if you are a chronic blame shifter, and to be honest, I don't know if it's chronic, but I think former years, it's so easy just to blame shift put it on other people. But taking responsibility puts you in a whole different realm of personal growth. Do you want me to read these real quick?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we talk about what is responsibility, the bigger picture, it really is a duty to deal with something or having control over someone and being accountable. The opportunity or ability to act independently and make decisions without authorization, a thing that one is required to do as part of a job or a role, a moral obligation to behave correctly toward or in respect of. Okay, really, this is you are accountable first and foremost to yourself. That's where we want to begin with this whole discussion. And what does that really mean?
All right. So here we go. I love this because there's, like you said earlier, there's two ways we can look at responsibility. And if you go back to or some episodes that we did another mini series on excuses last year. I think this also ties into what we're talking about today. So on one end, you can be passive, you can be blaming, you can be waiting for someone else to solve your problems. A lot of, not just women, a lot of people just kind of roll this way. And then on the other end of it, you can be proactive, accountable, and taking initiative to create positive change. And with responsibility comes discipline. And I think that's those words are strong words. They're hard words to hear, but it is super important that you, like you said, comes back down to your relationship with yourself. You have to take responsibility. You have to have the discipline, and you need to really start thinking about being proactive because newsflash, it's 2024, and the only way to get to your goal, to have resolutions, to really live a life of fulfillment is really to take responsibility for all the things that you do. So we want you to be on that side.
Yeah, that's my little version of a teeter-totter because I really thought it just takes one little thing for us to be off balance in taking that ownership of, and it could be so, I love that, waiting for someone else to solve the problems. Guess what? No one else, no one. I can sit here at my desk. I can meditate. I can journal. I can feel the woo-woo and all the vibes. But guess what? No one is going to walk up my stairs and go, Yvette, guess what? I'm taking all the responsibility for you. What? Who? That's not going to happen. Not going to happen. So wake up and start taking responsibility. It's a game changer, to be honest. It's freeing. It's so freeing to actually take responsibility.
We know you, and you'll feel and see and be the shift because it does totally change your life. We're going to talk a little bit about individual responsibility. I'll go kind of through the three and then we can discuss each one. But ownership, huge. Empowerment and growth. And what do those mean? There's so much involved in just those. Those are also extremely powerful words. But obviously, ownership, we kind of already talked about this, but we're going to repeat it again. It's just you need to take accountability. It's you. This is all about you taking accountability for your choices, your actions, your consequences. We are writing our own story, you guys. No one's going to be here and be like, here's the playbook, here's your life, go step by step and do it. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You want to take empowerment?
Yeah, I love this one, empowerment. This is really you understanding you have the capacity to make a difference. Like that just saying that makes you go, wait, I have the power? Yes. I feel like in our world right now, there's so many things that come against us that we don't feel like we have a say-so, a voice, or that someone just makes decisions for us. Yes, we live in a world like that. But there's so much more that we can take that ownership and say, I can really make a difference. I have that power. And when you start telling yourself that, you feel that. It's a real thing.
And then my favorite, growth, because it's so important. Growth kind of goes alongside with change, because I don't know if we talked about this yesterday. People don't go, oh, I can't wait for change. I love change. I can't wait for change to happen. But it's part of growth. And I also think challenges and failures have to happen. Like, you cannot go throughout life without it just all being perfect. And when you have those challenges and when you do fail, it's just another testament of growth and being able to get back up and do it better again. And I'm super thankful for all those times that we've had and that we're still going to have where things have to change, not only for our client and who we serve, but we have to grow, we have to change, and then we're going to do things that sometimes we think are great, and it comes back and slaps us in the face and say nope, but we get up and we try and do it again. So I think it's super important that we embrace these three words, because it is part of just being responsible for you.
Yeah. Okay, this is totally impromptu, but can you think of a time, or what has been something that you feel like you've really grown as far as just responsibility? I mean, like, whether it's these 3 points we've already talked about or just anything you've noticed in your own life.
I mean, motherhood, teenage motherhood, it's a whole, just even from the last quarter, the last 3 months. There's been a huge shift in taking responsibility and rules changing in our household and things that, that happened. And you kind of live life the same for so long and have a routine. And I think it's really important to I could blame the situation that we're in with what happened, but at the end of the day, it's like, what's that going to do for me and for the kids and for my family? And instead, it's, you know what, this happened, and what are we going to do? How am I going to grow? How am I going to empower my kids to make decisions for themselves? And I had to take ownership. So I think that's something super recent that happened just personally in my life.
Yeah. I'll say it's interesting that our our examples are the kind of the same but different because my kids are older. Same thing. I mean, especially, and this is really for a lot of the moms that are out there listening, what we do, what we say, how we act, that ownership part, the empowerment, the growth, all of that really does affect our kids. So as they get older, they start to have a voice and they start to share with you things that they thought were great and things that they're like, hey, this is really concerning to me, or I really don't like it. It is hard as a parent to kind of step back and go, wow, now these are grown adults who are telling me things that I have to listen and take that ownership part of it. But the empowerment is great because it's a two-way street. I feel empowered by listening. They feel empowered by being able to tell their truths. And then we both grow together. So that leads us into, we have shared responsibilities as individuals and as a society because we're all interacting together. And remember, our definition of relationships is anything that you are connecting with, involved with, interacting, you have emotion and a feeling towards. Those are our closest relationships to us. So there's that inner circle, and then the outer circle is how does even myself, then the other circle affect the outer circle as well. And we can't close our eyes to just the responsibilities that are happening among us in our neighborhoods, at schools, society, politics, someone else's business. I was actually listening to someone the other day talk to me about how where they're working at, they're really struggling with racism and really being a woman in her environment and the things that they've been saying to her. That's not right for everyone. So even that's just her situation at her workplace, it's still our responsibility as a society, her friends, to be supportive and to help in any way that we can. So first, I'll say first, our shared responsibility comes with our interdependence, which I really just said. It's so complex when you really think, and that's why I like the little emblem that's up there. There's so many little wirings and things that are connected going in, out, all around, and you're at the center of that. It's very complex, but it's all intertwined. I don't really think someone can really survive in a healthy way without having some kind of interconnection with other people. It's just going to happen. But because you are interconnected, you do have that responsibility with your relationships with other people.
And then, of course, one of our favorite words, because that's our business name, is collaborations. And I remember, oh God, I can't believe when we decided to name our company that, and how like people were like, what's a collaboration? Like, you're doing things with other people. Like, it just wasn't normal. And now, again, 2024, you hear, I mean, we heard it so much last year, and everyone's doing collaborations on which we absolutely love. And again, some of them work, some of them don't, but you have to test and try to figure that out. But, going back to being connected, you have to be able to collaborate. We've taught you, if anything, that you can't do it alone. Like, if you've ever gotten anything from us, is that you cannot do it alone. We had businesses on our own. We joined forces and killed it back then, and then we're just doing that now. But now we're taking a bigger role on what collaboration looks like, not just in our business, but just like with the women that we surround ourselves with. But I think this is so important because many people still don't feel comfortable with it. Some people still think there's competition. There's not. It's really not like that anymore. And I think it's just all on who you're connected with, who you're surrounded by, will really help you start embracing collaborations in your personal and your business life and community. I mean, that's a whole nother episode. I mean, that just the power of collaboration with philanthropy and community is huge.
Yeah, which leads into justice, because that's absolutely the community around us. And I know I talked about it earlier. But I mean, just even with the philanthropies that we're involved with, that's the outer circle realm of each one of us want to participate in something that we know we can help just make a small difference in a powerful way to help the injustices, or maybe there's inequalities, maybe that's, making sure that everybody's treated correctly and have equal rights, which is, and I'll say this too, I think sometimes we turn our heads because we're like, well, that doesn't really affect me, or I'm fine. I don't have to deal with that. You don't know what you have to deal with. No one knows the future. No one knows how the world's going to turn out. Anybody's life is going to turn out. And you have no idea when you might be on the other end of being a recipient from someone's generosity of just looking out for you.
Yep.
Just asking a simple question. How are you doing? What can I do to help you? Yep. Super easy.
That's how we learn. That's how we grow. See how shared responsibilities help us with our individual responsibilities. All full circle.
Woo woo.
All right, so we're going to read this quote. Responsibility empowers 21st century women, unlocking the key to manifesting the lives they dream of. With our incredible talents and tools, we are to experience the beauty of each day and embrace limitless possibilities. So nice. I'm going to let everybody take a minute to just read that because it's just so great. Maybe not a minute, but a few seconds.
While they're manifesting?
Yes. I mean, it's so, everything that we do. I love everything that we do. And we do have an amazing, we didn't put this in our notes, but we do have an amazing responsibility article that you guys can get from us, a tool and resource. So wherever you're listening, message us and we'll get that to you, or you can actually go to our website and contact us through there and we'll send it to you. But yes, I love this quote. I think it's fantastic. It does all the things that we do, that we love to share, that we love to guide, that we love to educate women. But yes, take responsibility. In one sentence, take responsibility for your life, because this can happen.
Yeah. And this is just episode 1. There's 3 more topics that we're going to talk about, but truly this really does begin with us. You've got to make that decision of, yes, I am responsible for all of my choices. I'm not going to look to other people. I'm not going to blame it on other people. I'm not going to look at my circumstance. Well, it was this, it was that. It was, in all fairness, some of those things are accurate. Life happens. But that doesn't mean that that's the stick in the mud or the reason why you couldn't get over the fence or you couldn't open the door. There's always other ways to do things and always new possibilities.
Yes, we love it. Well, we hope you enjoyed part 1 of the entrepreneurial process, the playbook. We'll be back next week with part 2. Do we want to give them what it is so they can get excited?
Yeah. The Woman's Entrepreneur Playbook part 2, investing.
Yes.
Oof, it's a big I word. Not just in yourself, but also in your business. And what does that really mean for 2024 right now? The entrepreneur who's just like, I need to know, like, keep me up to speed with what's going on with investing.
Yes. We're excited to be here to talk about it. And then if you want to sponsor our podcast, let us know. This week we're going to be sponsoring our own. But if you want to sponsor our podcast, since we're doing everything live, it's so easy. There's a questionnaire you fill out. You send us your slides. We do your commercial for you. We use our code, and then you get to have our viewers learn about what you do, what you're promoting. It's a business. It can be a product. We love wearing product too. So if there's something that you want us to wear on the show, let us know. And we'll take care of that for you. But today we are sponsoring our episode. We do have 3 rooms left as of today for our YGC Haven. It is our 2nd annual retreat. We're super excited. There are 15 amazing women already coming. It is a 48-hour trip to Round Top, Texas, where you unplug, disconnect, soar, and emerge. And we are literally going to just pour so much into you. We have some great interactive surprises. So if you are interested, just click the link or message us. We will get you that information, but we would love to have you at our 2nd annual YGC Haven. Until next week.